For a lot of children, all these changes in the world have been pretty difficult. It's a lot to take in for a child. This can sometimes lead to some serious meltdowns. That's why we are doing this video series. We want to help. Hello, I'm Samantha from Learning Success. This video is part of a series to help you, the parent, reduce or prevent the stress on children that cause meltdowns, and also help you deal with them better when they do occur. In this series, you'll get help from a variety of experts on the subject. In today's video, we have Kahn. Kahn, Chief Scientific Officer and co-founder of Mightier biofeedback video game platform that helps children and adolescents learn emotion regulation skills through play. He is also a researcher at Boston Children's Hospital who focuses on using technology to aid in mental health care. Mightier is an app-based family program developed at Boston Children's Hospital and Harvard Medical School that empowers children ages 6 to 14 to learn emotional control and supports caregivers to build emotionally healthy homes. In the last 3 years, Mightier has worked with over 15,000 families across the United States. In parent surveys, 75% of respondents report positive behavior changes in the first 3 months. These findings align with the results of 3 clinical trials that show Mightier has reduced symptoms of aggressive and disruptive behavior with clinically significant gains for children with emotional regulation challenges arising from ASD, anxiety, ODD, ADHD, and other common mental health diagnoses. Let's see what Jason has to say about preventing meltdowns.
Hi there. Thanks for having me. You know, we're about 12 weeks into quarantine now, and a lot of parents are seeing some really challenging behavior out of their kids. They're seeing anger, frustration, it's turning into hitting and crying, and, really sometimes rising to the level of meltdowns. And a lot of parents are wondering how they can take these challenges on. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to do that and really break it into a couple parts. So first is what's going on in a kid's brain as they go into a meltdown, because I find that really helpful. And then second, how we can address that, and then how we can help kids and our families. So when a kid has a meltdown, it's important to realize that at that point, their emotions have become so overwhelming and so big that what they're doing is they're actually getting in the way and shutting off the part of the brain that would normally regulate their emotions. So those signals just aren't getting to the body, and so the body has all this swell of emotions and all these chemicals that come with the emotions, and that's causing these really big behaviors that you see out of your kid during a meltdown. Because that's happening, it's really hard in the moment to take on the challenges that come with meltdowns, because your kid just isn't in a space where they can cognitively process that. So really what you're looking to do in a meltdown is provide a nice sense of safety and security for a child. And remember, from your child's perspective, actually being in the meltdown is something that is really, really scary. I think you can picture what it might feel like, but to have your emotions get to the point where you no longer have control of your body and you're acting in a way that might not even feel like yourself, like that's scary as a parent, but from your child's perspective, that's really scary too. Once you get to the other side of the meltdown, that's when you're going to be in the best position to try to take it on and start building the environment where you can help your child process the meltdown and then maybe find ways to avoid them next time they come up. So there is a lot of value to giving a child a language to think about the meltdown and try to understand where their emotions are and try how they got into that position. But it's also important to remember that that's not something that you're going to build overnight. So, you can't go from meltdown, have a conversation, and then you're never going to see a meltdown again, unfortunately. I think we as parents know that takes a lot of practice and a lot of repetition to get to kids to a point where they start to feel safe and start to feel an expectation and routine around certain things. And, it's important to remember, especially as we're here in quarantine, that the entire routine that your child knew over years and years and years of your life has disappeared. And even 12 weeks in, that's such a big change in routine and a big change in shift that you might not have your feet under you yet, and your kid might not have their feet under you yet, and that's okay. Like it takes time. It's really hard. So it's important to keep building this repetition and building these structures, and really, more than anything, build a space where your child feels safe. And that comes from a lot of repetition and a lot of doing over and over and over again, and just giving your child a clear expectation about what their day is going to look like, and trying to live it. There's something else you can do, which is, bring it back to what I do on a day-to-day basis. But we try to give children insight into their emotions, and we do it through a program called Mightier. Mightier is something I built out of Boston Children's Hospital and Harvard Medical School, and now spend my days at Mightier trying to figure out how to help kids through emotions. And what Mightier does is it lets kids see their emotions and build a sense of their emotions and how they affect their body. It does it with a heart rate monitor, so they wear a heart rate monitor, and they actually see, for the first time, they see their emotions represented as we call it a gizmo, but on the screen while they're playing video games. Video games are fun. There are lots of video games in Mightier, and the idea is that as they use those games, they're building a sense of what their emotions are and how their emotions change the world around them. So as their emotions rise in the video game, they see a gizmo go up, but they also see the game start to get harder as they go. And that gives kids an incentive to not only know where their emotions are, but also try to take control of their emotions and take ownership of their emotions and pull them back down. They do that enough and they start to build a muscle memory around their emotions. And that's really important, because then what happens is you move kids from the domain of what strategies do I have in the midst of a meltdown, which is good. It's important to have those strategies, to how does my body feel as it builds up to a meltdown? And if children can get a sense of how their body feels on the way up into a meltdown, then they're in a position where they can say, okay, I'm going up. I'm on an escalation trajectory. What do I do to take a step around that? Do I need to take a deep breath? Do I need to tense my muscles and relax? What really do I need to do? And as they build that sense, you find this space where, children's outbursts and meltdowns, they tend to last longer. They tend to last less time and be less intense. And then if you're really lucky, you get to this point where children actually, they step all the way around their meltdowns. And they get into this point where they know their body is feeling, they haven't lost sense of what their emotions are, but they use those emotions, they channel those emotions, but they don't get to that place where they no longer have control of their body, which is really what we hope for kids. I want to end just by thanking all the parents out there. I know that times are tough, especially right now. Just remember, you're not alone. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. Email is jason@mydear.com. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thank you, Jason. This is where patience and understanding of where meltdowns are coming from come into play from parents. Parents should act as a safety blanket, because meltdowns come and go. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to share it on social media. Use the hashtag #NoMoreMeltdowns. And remember, you've got this. The fact that you are here watching this video means you're an amazing parent. And that's a wonderful thing to be.